All right. Hey, thanks for tuning in for this week's Drupal Rector stream. And again, this stream is sponsored by Palantir.net, a remote first agile company that gives back to the Drupal project and community. Like through these streams, they're sponsoring my time to contribute to Drupal Rector. If you are looking for a Drupal job, they have an opening for a Drupal engineer. So you can head over to their website, www.palantir.net, and apply today. Again, thanks for sponsoring my time to work on Drupal Rector. They are the organizational maintainers, or their organization maintains the project, and they have sponsored my time to help get it ready for Drupal 10. And to be ready for Drupal 10, that means it needs to be able to analyze Drupal 9 code and automate fixing your deprecations for you. And if you haven't caught the last two streams, we've worked on getting it updated to the latest Rector, which is 0.11. And also development tools like PHP Unit. So we're now ready to actually start working on Drupal 9 support. So that will be the first thing we get started on. It runs on Drupal 8.9, and there are changes required to make it run properly on Drupal 9 without conflicts. So let's get started on this. Again, the code is managed on GitHub, but the issues are on Drupal.org. So we're going to, I like to copy the issue node ID, or just the issue ID, and then make a new branch called issue number. And the first step is going to be taking this functional. Let's create we have this functional test Rector examples. I guess we can make a new one, or rather, let's take this. Sorry, one second. I need to think. Is using my setup Drupal with Drupal 8. So yeah, let's rename this to Refactor, rename. Let's just get a job running to start. So we're gonna call it D8 underscore Rector examples. Let's copy it and make a D9. We'll add. So we'll go through and we'll change a few things here. We're gonna bump the version to 7.4. and the Drupal version to 9. Now, the only problem is that we don't want to run these yet. And I'll explain why I say that right now. So by default, what this functional test does is there are these Rector examples, and right now these are all deprecations from Drupal 8 to Drupal 9. So if we run this if we try to execute this code on a Drupal 9 code base, all this deprecated code is gone already. So we don't want to copy those over yet. But I do want to run. Let's see, I'm going to undo my changes. So we want to get Drupal 9 installed. Just cut out some of these comments. It's a little bit easier to read. So we want to then install Rector. It prepares the Rector examples module, which we can copy that over. See, this runs the Rector. So let's copy this. So we're going to comment these out, and I'm going to make a to-do, uncomment these when we have D9 fixtures. So I want to at least run this on core. So we'll run this to web core modules action. The action module. It's always like my go-to for whenever I've been testing this stuff for what do you want to call it? For PHP stand Drupal. Whenever I run things, I'm always at core modules action. So what we're going to do is we are going to run Rector against the action module itself. And again, the reason we're doing this is so we can just make sure that Rector runs without crashing onto a Drupal 9 site. And then when we start getting some fixtures written inside the Rector examples, we can point to there, which will be part of this issue as well. So let's just go ahead and rename. Oh, we need to fix the naming on this. So we've got that and the D9. Name, we'll say D8 functional test. Oh, sorry, D8. And this is D9. Let's go to the commit tab and we'll copy over. Just copy this commit message. And we'll do a commit and push, and we'll pop open a pull request. I'll use the GitHub command line to do so. So GHPR create. Use that title. Just submit. I copy the pull request URL and update this issue. So it needs work. Make sure I credit Palantir since they are sponsored my time. PR started here. We'll link to that. I put it as needs work because it does need work. We're just getting started. Typically on Drupal, there's needs review, which means, hey, there's code that's ready for review. Needs work means that code needs changes. And RTBC is reviewed by the community, which RTBC could be done by anybody. It could be one other person. But it means that I've reviewed this and I think it's okay. The maintainer can decide how many people are the community in that terms. So let's just look at this. I should update the description. So we added the workflow. It failed, but I'm going to quick triage this. Ends Drupal 9 support. So we can move on to Drupal 10. There's no to test Palantir. There is the sandbox, which I forever can never remember the name. So there's two D9s. Here we go. Let's say add this PR to there. And paste that link. All right, so we got to that point. Rector sandbox, PHP 7.4. Let's go. Let's see why this failed. All right, so we do have some failures already with the test compatibility trait. That exists as a workaround because in Drupal 8, we support PHP Unit 6 and 7, but Drupal 9 are 8 and 9. And there's a trait that was needed. So this should actually be fixed if we can. So require once. Let's do, this was at an 8.8, which means 8.7 would fail, but people should upgrade to 8.9 anyways. This was a fun little bit to mess with. Let's see. Technically, we can't load any Drupal code in here. So I want to see Drupal Finder. I wish Drupal Finder could somehow grok the version, but it doesn't. It just finds the location for us. So we're going to do it the easy way of, we're actually, let's see. We could do a file exists, but I want something that's a little bit more, not dependable, because that is just equally as dependable, but something that's a little bit more direct. So let's pop open the Drupal code again. And see here, it says cannot require. So let's look at setup Drupal. And I want to see what version of PHP Unit installed. So we did core recommended, and then it added core dev. and we got PHP Unit 9.5. So we can say, I know that we support version. So if, right here I have if major is greater than 7, major equals 7. We don't want that. Let's maybe get rid of that. See, I'm going to open, I did command click to get 8.9.x added. So let's go and let's see, we need to support 2. We're on 2. All right, we need to get 9.1.x and 9.3.x. Let's review these really quick. So 8.9, we're looking at core tests, Drupal tests, Drupal test tools, PHP Unit compatibility, PHP Unit 6 and 7. So we'll say, let's drop this here. If yes, we're going to have to ditch this major. We're going to call it 0. I don't know. So we need to do if major is equal to 6 or major is equal to 7. Assume this was at an 8.8. We could even maybe do like a little monkey patching here for that as well. But we'll just say that if assume PHP unit, well, Drupal 8.9, 8x supports PHP Unit 6 and 7 and has compatibility traits. We must load. So let's see. So we have them here. I'm going to link it because I didn't before. So let's put the link there and go back to core and composer.json. So if we were to look at the PHP unit entry here, it's not, where are the dev dependencies listed? Replace, require. I think dev dependencies are in the root project. Let's see. Yep, require dev. So PHP unit is 6.5 or 7. I'm going to copy this. So this way we know, like we have links, can explain it. 8.9. Nobody should be on. Let's see, let's add in an 8.8. I want to harden this. Like somebody, like they should be upgraded. But let's look at 8.7. It's not even in here. All right. Well, we're just not going to even support that. Okay, so we've hardened this that if the major version is 6 or 7, we load in the workaround. I'm going to change this from a to do it to note. Needs to catch all deprecations. All right, so we're going to start there. For loading any utilities. So now we need to handle PHP version 8. So let's check 9.1.x. We'll go to tests, Drupal test tools, PHP unit compatibility. Great. Looks like we have the same thing where we have a PHP unit 8 and a PHP unit 9 test compatibility trait. So I guess the bug here, let's go back. So I guess the bug was the fact that we defaulted, if it was greater than 7, we bumped it down to up to 7. So let's just check to see if these persist in all the other branches. PHP unit compatibility, 8 and 9. Yep, and for 3.x, it should still be here. Test tools, not compare. All right, I'm convinced. So what we'll do is I guess we'll just load the major. Or what we should do actually is if major greater than, well, no, there has to be, there doesn't have to be. So let's move this all in. Let's move this all into here. And I'm going to try to document this best for anybody else that comes in here and tries to read this. So if the class exists, we look it up. Drupal 8.x supports 6 and 7. 9 is 8 and 9. Go ahead and just copy these to be 9. I think 9.3 will be the last one. Or is it going to be 9.4? I don't quite remember, but let's just make sure this link is okay. All right, so 9.3.x. Okay, line 27 needs to be. Sure. For this way, it's documented. So if somebody comes in and says, why are we doing this? Because Drupal has compatibility traits, which I know eventually we added the Symfony PHP Unit bridge. So maybe in Drupal 10 we'll be done needing these because we'll be using the same kind of setup that Symfony uses for multiple major versions of PHP Unit support. So I want to check one thing quickly. For some reason inside the GitLab IDE or browser, the like back and forth buttons on my mouse don't actually work, which makes navigating a complete pain. So like here for compatibility layer, so this ensures that you have the prophecy trait remove when we stop supporting PHP Unit 8. So that's the workaround there. Kind of curious what's in the PHP 8 one. Absolutely nothing. All right, so we just carried it over to have it there. I'm actually going to not use the PHP IDE. I'm going to add config, and I'm going to do a git amend. And I'm going to be able to type git push force, and we're going to do a force push for this one. And let's see, what we should do is also work on another test flow. So I want to see. So we have Rector Sandbox with PHP 7.4. I don't know why I made 2 files. I should have made 2 jobs. So that's, I'm going to give myself a self-review. Why didn't I just make another job in this workflow? I'll make that comment there. So let's see. We also have the Rector Sandbox. And this is, like I brought up, it's the DDev environment. We run DDev in GitHub Actions to run Rector because we want to make sure the development environment that we tell contributors to use actually works. We could run this on that project, but it wouldn't be executed as often. We want every change to Drupal Rector to run properly inside of the DDev instance. We're running this because we had quirks for some reason on Mac OS with PHP 7.4 and Rector 0.11. We're getting a weird autoloading error. No idea why, but we are. All right, so this failed. Oh joy. So this is a fun error that I had to walk through several times for PHP Stand Drupal. So we'll see here that says declaration of blah, blah, blah must be compatible with setup before class. I don't have Drupal code hand local. I don't have any Drupal code locally real quick to show you this. So I'm going to quick pull it up. So then we go to test, not fixtures. Drupal should be under test tools. It's not under build tests. It's not. All right. I don't know where it lives, but I'll pull up where we have it in PHP Stand Drupal. There's this weird PHP Unit Hack that exists. Oh, here it is. So let's go PHP Unit 8. Class Writer. Yeah, it took me a long time to find this the first time around. So what it does is it finds the base class and then it rewrites it. Oh, this is even more. So it mutates the PHP unit classes to make them compatible. So in the original part that I copied is it fixes the compatibility with the base class. And I honestly don't know why this wasn't failing in 8.9 for Rector, because it was with PHP Stand, but it for sure is now. So what we have to do is run this code ahead of time. And it's done in the, so if we open, let's see, that's going to bring me up. So if we go to Drupal tests, if we go to Bootstrap, and we go to class writer, we'll see that it actually mutates the test class right away. So this test Bootstrap has a lot of little goodies in it that are needed to have Drupal run right in 8.9 or 9.0. So let's try to get it to work. All right. So I'll merge these once we get it working again. So let's see, inside config, we have Drupal PHP unit bootstrap file, which means that we should run it in here. So let's see. So we have 8 and 9. Is this a bug in 9? I feel like it. So let's go to PHP unit 9. It doesn't exist. Let's just check. And maybe it just only runs from, there's only the one. Yep, so it's only in PHP unit 8. So we'll, so if major is greater than or equal to 8, load the PHP unit, the Drupal class writer for PHP unit to mutate the PHP unit base classes. I don't think this is going to work because I think it's going to be too late in the call, but we'll see. So if major is greater than or equal to 8, we're going to do a require once of Drupal root. Let's just copy this in. It's not test compatibility trait. It is class writer. And we'll do, we have to manually call it. Oh, PHP Stand is going to argue with us on this one. So I have PHP Stand running, and it's going to get cranky because this class doesn't exist. Let's see. I want to do it differently. So first, let's do a link to this file so that way folks know and understand I'm not going completely nuts with what I'm writing. Class writer, alter assert, alter test case. So I think this test case is what I had to run, and where it saves is it actually saves in site simple test, but where PHP stay and Drupal saves it is inside of the test directory. So inside here, I actually had to add it as part of the autoload. So it alters the PHP unit class that gets loaded. And by doing the PHP Unit Hack, we require the file. So it pre-auto loads it and makes it work. Super hacky. Super wonderful. Let's see. I wonder what's the best way that we can make this work. So see here, it dumps it into site's simple test. What did I do? I wrote a fix for this in my previous Rector pull request. So let's see what I can pull in and how I did it. So files changed. There's a whole bunch of them. Composer.json. Let's see what's down here. Probably faster to just. So PHP unit bootstrap file. Let's see. So we load it. It finds the extensions. All right, so that's copied over. Okay, this is how I did the PHP unit hack fix, is I actually copied it in. So the problem is that we have to load it and modify it before Composer does. And I can try just copying it into this PHP unit bootstrap.php. I guess we'll try it there. So source, utility, I guess we'll put underneath utility. Call it. My one concern is it's not going to be up to date. So this does include flushed altered code. Let's see. Because what I would like to do is be able to just download this file and then rewrite it. Rewrite the namespace and use it. Not even the namespace, but the directory. So why don't we try to do that? Let's see. So we have GitHub config source. Sorry, I'm trying to think. I know with Composer in your scripts, you can invoke a class, correct? So if you do git composer.org, documentation, let's see. Composer.json schema, scripts. Scripts, event names, defining scripts. All right, we can even do it in our own. So let's do utility, file, create PHP unit class writer. Actually, let's make a subdirectory. We'll call it Drupal 9. Yeah, we'll create a directory called Drupal 9, new file, PHP unit class writer. Just start there. We'll do namespace is, I have no idea the namespace, Drupal Rector utility. Drupal 9. Final class, create PHP unit class writer. Public static function. Just call it create. So I should be able, in our scripts then, have, we'll put it after config, scripts, where they have it. Say Drupal 9, I don't know, we'll namespace it, create PHP unit class writer. And it is, let's see, we'll do copy, paste, copy reference. Yeah, the double, we don't need it there, but we need the extra backspaces. And we'll do print dust. All right, so let's run this. Let's run it. Cannot run program composer, no such file or directory. All right, composer, Drupal 9. All right, so it ran there, which is great. So let's copy the raw file, which is where open raw. Say asset URL. Oh, so we're gonna make a private. We don't need to go that far. That's overdoing it. Stop, corny corn. So we're gonna call the class writer source equals here. So that's the raw file. We're going to then do let's do a cheap old file get contents because I don't want to source use include file get contents. Oh yeah, we'll call it. So oh man, class writer source URL, which then gives us class writer source class writer. So the idea is that this will then give us the, so if we run print class writer source, that should give us the full the PHP file. Failed to open request forbidden. Oh man. Wait. Why was it forbidden? File get contents. Oh, I don't want to overdo this. Yeah, so my idea was instead of us like doing a hard copy of it, because already PHP standard Drupal is out of date for a fix that we had to do. But I guess we just got to roll that way. So let's delete that. I'm going to undo here. And we'll just call this the about class writer. Did we have this in Drupal 8? What is it? 8.9.x, 8.9. We did not. Because we didn't have that. Let's go to 7. Oh, this is such a hot mess. 8.9.x. Core. Tests. Test tools. PHP unit compatibility. 6. No, we did not have the class writer. Or there. Okay, so it is just a PHP unit 8 thing. So let's just call this file class writer.php. Drupal Rector utility 9. We'll put it in this namespace. Say copied from Drupal core. I don't know what else we can do for this. We'll just fix the whole file. It's not going to actually fix it. So the main thing here is alter code. Not going to fix code standards in here. One of the main things will be changing this directory to actually we'll make it be this current directory. Oh wait, no, we don't want it to be. Yeah, we'll make it in this directory. E8. So what we'll want to do is add a git ignore. I don't think we'll ever need these to be written here, or we'll ever see them written right here, but we're going to make sure that they don't accidentally get committed ever. All right, I don't think this is going to work, but we'll see. The reason I don't think this will work is due to the fact that wait, shit, where's the loader? I think it's going to run too late, but we'll see. Loader. So we'll try this. So inside config, we're adding this here. We're adding the class writer. Add support for class mutation due to missing return types. So that's the big thing that happened on the setup method in the base class. They added the return type of void, but none of Drupal's code has the return type set. So they wrote this code that will remove the return type and then preload the file, preventing PHP Unit's true source from being loaded. Spent good while like debugging that, which is a pretty brilliant fix for the problem, but it's kind of a headache to dance around when you're doing static code analysis and it's causing things to break. So there's the Drupal 9. The workaround is if this doesn't work, because PHP, so this breaks if PHP Unit is autoloaded first. If anything in PHP Unit gets autoloaded before this runs, it's an end. It's moot. Oh, hey, it ran. Oh, I forgot to turn. Wait a second. D9 functional test. Check that the updates. That's not supposed to run. Oh shoot! I didn't turn that off. But let's see. Prepare. Run Rector against Drupal on the Actions module. How is it applying code. Printing Rector is done. Well, it didn't crash anymore. So I'll take that as a win. Remove diff run. Do not run diff until, actually, let's do status, git commit, -av, remove diff run. What I'm going to actually do is go down to this hash and do git rebase -i interactive on that hash. And I want to squash these commits. So S is for squash, and once I close this, it's going to, let's delete these extra lines. The rebase is going to let me squash all of my commits into one nice little commit, even though I made multiple. I'm going to do a force push because I like to have things nice and tidy when it's this kind of stuff. There's no need for a bunch of different commits right now, as it's mostly exploratory. So if I were to go back and I refresh, we'll see there's one commit. I'm going to fix putting that back into a job or into another job there. I have an idea. So what we'll do actually is we have Rector examples updated. I feel like we need to move these. Let's call them, let's do test source. Let's make a new directory called fixtures. We'll make a new one called D8. Let's move these into there, into D8. Oh, it opened everything. All right, so we've got D8 fixtures. Let's go ahead and make a D9. I don't necessarily like this, but let's do Rector examples. So my idea is that I don't want to have two duplicated jobs. I want to use a build matrix. So let's actually rename this back to just functional Rector examples. On pull request, we want to do strategy, and it's matrix. I'm going to say Drupal version. Let me look at PHP stand. No, we don't have it there. PHP unit matrix. Yeah. Okay. So you can do, let's say Drupal major. Let's say major. That's an array. So we'll have 8 and we'll have 9. Because ideally, once Drupal 10 hits, I'd like to then be running on Drupal 10 too, and it's just adding to this. So PHP version, oh, that's going to be the big part. There is, let's see, let's go back to PHP stand, Drupal, and workflows. Got a whole bunch in here. Include. This is what we'll want to do, is we want to include specific versions in here. So let's do, we're going to drop the matrix, right? Nope. Yep. So we're going to do include PHP version 7.4 with Drupal 8.9. Let's do 7.4 and just Drupal 9. So we want a Drupal version because then we can pass that to the setup PHP, which I can just do a little copy paste here. So what we have is we have a matrix, run functional test. I have to do a pipe in there. So we'll say, how do I have it here? There we go. I can just copy that. So PHP, the PHP version, and then the Drupal version that's installed. So we have, we don't need icon V. I don't think we need exif. BC math is only required for commerce. We don't have commerce in here. We'll just leave it at that to try to make it a little bit faster. So we've got the PHP version. We're using my setup Drupal trait, which is the same one used here somewhere. Actually, no, I didn't. Wait. Build integration. Here we go. So now I can just copy it from there. So like I said, now when we have Drupal 10, we just add that entry into here. Let's do, show them with PHP 8 as well. It'll be a little bit wasted, but we'll run that. So now here's the big kicker. So we set up Drupal. We're installing Rector. We're installing the Rector config. We're cding into the Drupal directory. We're making a custom module, and we're copying right here. So we actually need to now change this to be fixtures. In D, so we'll have to do the, shoot, I don't like that. I guess that's fine. We'll do Drupal 8.9. We'll say 9 and 9. It's a little magical because we're adding the tilde down here, but that allows us to magically place it down here. The filter. 1 second. How do you open the filter? So we need to change, we need to paste that here. So the idea is that we're going to copy based off of the Drupal parameter in our matrix. We're going to copy the folder, so D8 or 9, but I have 8.9, which composer semver checker. What's the fancy sweet? So let's do Drupal recommended project. Once. One second. Sorry, my wife had a question about getting the pool filter running. Project dev main. Okay, not dev main. So I sorry, I need to refocus real quick. Is that if we do tilde 8, we're gonna get 8.9, which is expected. We want to get, that should give us the last related version, and if we do 9, it's gonna give us 9.2. I actually want to be more explicit with this. So let's say fixture. I'd rather do this. I'd rather it be, we're going to do like 8.9.x, which I guess, yeah. Well, we know there's going to be no more, well, there might be a Drupal 9 release. All right, I want to do, sorry. I want to do it this way. I like to be more explicit in all of the tests than magical, so that way we have the right amount of flexibility. So I wanted to just work through that in my head. So remove this tilde, and we're going to do, like, we should be testing on the latest head. So let's do 9.3.x. And fixture is D9. D9. To speed this up for right now, I am going to comment out the PHP 8 and 9.3.x. So it's copying the fixture to web modules custom, so we can do all of this here. This part needs to be revised. So we need to run a diff against the proper fixture to the end result. So let's delete the D9 one. And we'll go ahead and commit. Oh, we need to make a file.get keep. Or is there a README in here that we can copy? There is not, but it does have a module file. Okay, we'll do that. Let's copy that into here. Let's add it, and I'm assuming it's the same one in updated. I'm just going to copy that as well. So let's change this to say that it only requires 9. This is important because otherwise the folders wouldn't exist, because with Git, it doesn't commit empty folder directories. So we'll add all this. So create D9 fixture and workflow. Let's push and see what happens. Oh no. Commit and push. No. Commit. How can I turn off the static analysis of it? To commit. To stop with this. There we go. Let's push. It's going to be a huge pull request just because of the changes. 165 files changed. That's great. Oh, I forgot to fix the name. We'll let it run. So now we can see we have the functional test for 7.4 and 7.4 with 9.3.x, and it died already. Set up Drupal. Cannot find package Drupal recommended project with 9.3.x. Drupal recommended project. Oh, because I did dev, so I'm assuming the PHP 8 would have the same bug, but it probably killed it. Well, that's weird. So 8.9.x worked out fine. Just do we'll just run it this way. You don't use X. Let's push it. All right. I can never get back from the actions list into the pull request properly. Triggered by, how do I even get back? Here we go. All right, let's see if this works. So this is 7.4. guess it's hard to read. Maybe we should just change it to be functional test because we can't tell from the sidebar what we're actually running. Operation was canceled because something failed. Cannot find pack Drupal recommended project with 9.3 because it hasn't been released. So 9.3 doesn't exist yet. Actually, before let's just call it a functional. We'll just name it functional test. Push it. All right, tests are running. So if you haven't if you did not know about this tool, it's semver.mwl.b. So made with love.b, and this is like my all-time favorite for showing how semver constraints work. So it's setting up Drupal. It's adding Drupal Rector. Wait, install Rector config. No. Stop. Running. All right. Install Drupal Rector, config, prepare. So we can see fixtures D9. It's perfect. Let's look at the Drupal 8 version. Prepare. CD D8. Awesome. So we have it set up that it's running. And there's nothing to run against. So it's pretty nice. It's for kicks. Let's run against PHP 8 as well. We'll add that. And we have this mutate base going. Must be periodically updated as Drupal core improves. Core handles any other future changes. Okay, so we've got that for Drupal 9. And put that inside the bootstrap file here. I guess the next step would be to also create, oh shoot, that's what we need to do. Rector.php. By default, it just includes all the Drupal 8 deprecations. We need to figure out locate root. Let's see. I don't know how to test this without writing some PHP unit code, and writing the PHP unit code adds complexity to it. So let's see. The next step is we need to make a new directory called Drupal 9. I'm just going to make a new file. I'm copying that name, Drupal 9, all deprecations. And this goes into there. So let's see. So we'll follow the same pattern and add this bootstrap file. The bigger question will be, how do we get this? So I really like the install instructions right now. To install, you just copy this rector.php somewhere. It's in here. Somewhere it tells you how to install it. Oh, run it, create the configuration. You just have to copy the rector.php to your folder. And I want to keep it that way. But there's no easy way to detect if it's Drupal 9 or not. So Drupal Finder will find the Drupal root for us. Let's see. This is right there. So we could use, I don't think there's any way we can detect the version properly. Like we could do, wait, remove the magic and detect a major version instead. Well, this doesn't have it either. Let's see. So if we look at get.drupal inside of core, we have lib, and there's Drupal.php, and this has a constant that we can check. And we could try to read that constant, but we have to load the file before it's available. So that's not going to completely work out. Let's see. Because what I want to do is I want it to just work. I wonder if there's any problem if we ran just all the rectors. Like, do we need to worry about running Drupal 8 deprecations because they'll never pass? Well, they'll never be detected. So I guess the only problem would be that it's slower. Or Drupal 9 would run on Drupal 8. So parameters. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know how we could do this magically. So we're just going to, I want to just keep it simple. And we'll do Drupal 9. We'll just always load Drupal 9. Make a to-do. To-do, find out how to only load the relevant rector rules. Should we try and load version? Check. Somehow if I press this again, it'll keep it highlighted. One thing I want, github.com, Webflow. That's not it. Webflow Drupal Finder. Well, just want to see packages. So Drupal Finder plugin. Let's go here. Oh, because I did Webflow with the W. And there's probably nothing in here that will help. Yeah, latest release was in 2016. And there's just really basic changes. So I don't think there's any fancy way we can discover it because there's nothing different between Drupal 8 and 9 in terms of setup inside of core. There's no like version file or anything like that. Yeah, so we'll just have to run that. Because my only concern is if we load the Drupal version, PHP stand is going to get mad. Because PHP stand won't know how to read it because we don't have Drupal core as a dependency. And we can't add Drupal core as a dev dependency because we have to support Drupal 8 and 9. So I guess we could just do this, and the rules won't break because if it adds this, it'll just pass. Like the rule won't apply. And I guess that would be the same case for Drupal not, like if somebody ran this on their Drupal 8 site. So let's go ahead and I'm just going to add this. So change here, add Drupal 9 configurations, configuration setup. Let's do a push. Let's see. Actually, I want to go back to here, go to the issues. This is running. And all right, let's look at sandbox. I'll just open that. That bug needs to be dug into. Get messages, those need to be added. Top 10 deprecations to cover. Let's look at that. Core version requirement. Just read that real quick. So let's look at the top 10 deprecations. Call the deprecated method Drupal post form and browser test base. I want to find like a really basic one. Deprecated function drush log. Oh, can we even fix that in here? They're all about test methods. Well, I guess we will have to I wanted to like have one issue for them all, but I guess we'll just write it now. So let's look at this. Drupal post form. It is removed from this. Let's see. Is there... Wish we had all the change records in core. So we could get a sample test fixture. Although this failed. Let's see why this failed on Drupal and PHP 8. Dang it, I did that again. Where I forgot 9.3. Oh, sorry, I am tired today. Sorry, I'm running a little bit slow. It has been like the name of the day. The name of the game today is just running very slow. Let's see. I need to get a sample file open real quick. So let me quick do I'm going to open something. I'm going to see PHP Storm. All right. So I'm going to open my core dev environment and try to find where this is used at all, because I'm on 9.1.x, which I'm guessing it's fixed by now in here. Oh, all right. It's deprecated and removed. It's doesn't exist anywhere. Well, if it was deprecated in 9.1, that means in 9.0, it should exist somewhere. All right, so did a checkout. It's not deprecated yet. So that's a 9.1 deprecation. So we can do, they're all grouped. So I guess we'll make a new file, Drupal -9.0 deprecations.php. We need a 9.1 and a 9.2 and a 9.3. Because 9.4 is not released yet. Let's see what's going on. Let's find a really empty one. There's no deprecations in 8.1 apparently, so we can just paste this all through. One second, gotta reply to something in Drupal Slack. I was just asked if we can start mass writing Rector rules. And almost. So we got that here. So the Drupal post form. Wait, too many results found. All right, I just wanted to write one test to make sure that we're running things through. So the rule, so for 9.1, how's it going here? Services, we'll call it, how did we name stuff for tests? There's no, I don't think there's any Rector rules for tests in here. Browser test base. Where'd Drupal post form go? We'll say, deprecation. I don't know if we should namespace all these into if it's Drupal 8 or Drupal 9, but I don't think we really need to. So we'll do file UI, what is it called? What's this trait? UI helper trait. Drupal post form Rector PHP. Let's get the namespace. Final class UI helper extends abstract Rector. Let's see. There's got to be a, well, wait, hold on. I don't even remember what the deprecation is. So let's go to 9.1.x. Shoot, not yet. I need to make a sample test. Shoot. Yeah, I definitely do not want to be the one writing these rules. So I want to get this all ready to go, so that way other people can do that. So configuration test, we'll do this here. They're not here, but Let's create the fixture. So fixtures, D9, Rector examples. How do we have it in D8? Test source functional. Test source functional. We'll say Drupal post form test.php. Sure, it's something like that in here. How do they do the namespace? Like a full-on module, probably. So class extends browser test base. Actually, I'm just going to copy that entire bit and we'll just copy this line. This line is all we need. I guess simple example. All right, Drupal post form takes path, edit, submit, options, HTML form ID. So we've got the path, edit, create. We don't need a path called T. So these are all required with options. I don't know what the options are for. Options be forwarded to the URL generator. Say that, and then HTML form ID. Let's see the options as a direct value. So we have options direct. And then we'd have options as variable, because we could have options like this. And with HTML ID. With HTML ID, I'll say that this is an empty array, and all right, so that's our fixture, which then we will. I created the rule, right? So we got to change this to Drupal post. No, yeah. So we got the Rector rule there. It's configured. We have our fixture. Now we have to copy it to the updated. And this is supposed to be everything that's fixed. What we can do is we have unit tests now. So let's actually just write the unit test for this. Because that way we can, if the unit test pass, when we do the functional test, it should pass as well. So deprecation, we've got file name of where'd it go? Let's do new directory. The test setup's a bit verbose, but it's all right. New directory config, directory fixture, new file, test.php. So I'm just going to copy that. I'll paste it there. And this is just changing it to be UI helper, changing the class name. And then inside the fixture, it's like what we just previously did. So let's see. We'll create a new file called fixture. So we can actually, with the test, let me just copy this content and paste it in here. With the test, we can actually load all the fixtures in there. So we'll do, let's open how I had in the, oh geez, there's so many folders. D9 examples. All right, so what I'm going to do is in here I have one test that has a whole bunch of the things. We're going to have multiple fixtures. We'll call this simple.php.inc. And you can see in here, I'm going to just copy it. So you have the dashes in the first half is the fixture, and the second half is the expectation. So let's copy. I'm just going to copy that file. I'm going to remove So I'm going to remove some of these extra ones. So we just have the simple example. And this will be interesting to see how well it works out. So now we need to see what the actual fixes are. So let's go to 9.1.x and figure out what the replacement for Drupal post form is and what we're going to expect to be the outcome. So as deprecated, use this submit form instead, which takes, so what we'll need to do, so in there we'll end up doing, it needs to do this. So based off what we've seen, I lost my mouse. There it is. Oh, PHP Storm is really lagging out due to trying to parse this file. So what needs to happen is this Drupal get path with the options, which we have no options here. So to do Drupal get path, and then this submit form with edit, and this should say create. And nothing there. So this is what the end result should be. So now let's run our test. So if I were to, UI helper test rule, namespace is in the wrong folder name. All right, so we have that. Let's implement the stubs. Oh, okay, I need to get rule definition. All right, we'll return this. Code before would be sorry. Oh man, I opened the wrong thing. There we go. So code before is Drupal post form, and then after is, we'll copy that in. That being the code leading up to it. So this is the before, and this is the after. All right, so we have that. Fixes deprecated. URI helper trait calls. Unhandled. Why is this throwing an error? Did the other ones have a warning too? No. Hold on. Oh, I keep hitting the wrong buttons. Let's minimize that. So oh, because I didn't import code sample. That's why. All right, so node types, refactor. Let's just return an empty array for right now. Oh, let's see. Static to function base, node type, static call. It would be a method call, I believe. So let's see if I can, not function call. I believe it would be a method call. Yeah, so we'll return method call because it's inside of a class. All right, so that imported. And then we need to actually do the refactoring. But for now, let's try to run this. Let's run it. So it's going to yield files from the directory, which means that each of the cases will be identifier not found. Drupal test browser-based test cannot be found located in source. I had a feeling this would be a problem. Yeah, shoot. So we're going to have a slight problem running these rules if we don't have Drupal core available, which means that we can't run PHP unit for Drupal 8 tests because we need to have PHP, or sorry, hold on. I'm going to get that really confused in my head. In order to run PHP unit, we need Rector source, which requires PHP 8. Drupal 8 is not compatible with PHP 8. So we're in a rock and a hard place, and we can't use PHP unit for any rule that tests Drupal 8. I guess what I can do is at least copy that into the fixture. Is this updated? It's supposed to be. So that's the hard part. I don't know how I could do this without having without using PHP unit. I have to do test driven development. Otherwise my brain just doesn't work out right. So what I want to do is I'm just going to push this. Add basic rule for Drupal post form deprecation. Let's push it and see. And I'm going to reference some old code that I wrote. So that's going to explode pretty wonderfully. Making sure that it's paused on promoting people to write rules because we're not quite there yet. So I had integration tests on Rector 0.10 with PHP 8, with Drupal 8. I want to see how I did it because I don't quite remember. It's probably easier if I just go view it on my fork instead of through this. So composer.json. So required dev. Oh, sorry. So what I had here is and installed a Drupal 8 fixture into test fixtures Drupal. And somehow that made things work, but that doesn't seem right. You know what? I bet it would be the same problem because in here, so I was working on fixes before, and this actually ran a Drupal integration test to make sure that we could analyze files correctly against the available Drupal site. But I think we'll still have the same problems here. Oh, man. Just want to see if the failures are what I expect. Yeah. So PHP stand is erroring out because it can't find browser test space to properly analyze the code, which is the whole point of this. And let's see what happened. Set up, cannot find version 9.3, so I still have that screwed up. So 9.2. I guess what we could do, I'm gonna fix this. Let's try, yeah, I'm gonna quick fix this. Fix PHP 8.0 to use 9.2. Let's do commit and push. And the next step is to, what do I do for PHP stand Drupal? So for PHP stand Drupal, I have these as dependencies somewhere. Require dev. Oh yeah, I allow both because I'm able to. Yeah, that's a whole fun experiment and rush. But like I said, we can't do this, and we cannot do this with Drupal Rector because Rector requires PHP 8 when you're using the development package. Yeah, so that's kind of a bummer. So we'll have to do, let's see, Composer. We'll try this locally. Composer require dev. We're gonna add these as dev dependencies. Require Symfony error handler found with the package is fixed to 5. So let's see, Composer, why Symfony kernel 5, why is there H in Composer, why So Rector requires Symfony 5. And Drupal does not support Symfony 5. Which means that we can't install it as a dev dependency anymore because Rector loves to be bleeding edge apparently and take PHP 8 in the latest Symfony Major version. Update Symfony 5 components to set. So why does this say? All right. I need to figure out something out here. Because this says, well, one of them said that it supported Symfony 5. So composer.json, update Symfony 5 components. So HTTP kernel is still at 4, but we have Symfony MIME at 5. So we have one package. We have like a few packages that are at 5.x. So you have some packages that are 5.x. The rest are pinned at 4 still, which means that we can't add Drupal core as a dev dependency because it doesn't work. Oh. Let's see. Let's look at 9.3.x. Four weeks ago, it's still at that. Update Symfony 5. Core. Composer.json. Where is it? This is a real shot in the foot. Require. Where's the require? It is still at Symfony 4 in 9.3.x. I want to see if there's any traction when Symfony 5 will be. Symfony 5 compatibility. Drupal 9 released, blah, blah, blah. Drupal 10 is planned to adopt Symfony 5 or 6. We need to bridge a gap to Symfony 5. Any outstanding compatibility with Symfony 5? Add compatibility for latest major and minor versions of dependencies to Drupal 9. Oh boy. Here we go. I want to see if allow Drupal 9 to be installed with Twig 3. I'm not seeing anything on HTTP kernel though. Add Symfony, thanks. No, that's resolve Symfony 4 deprecations in Drupal 9 for Symfony 5. Let's see. Symfony 6, use main request instead. Should have for Drupal 9.10, must have for 10.11. Yeah, so this is not going to happen. Shoot. So because Rector uses Symfony 5 and Drupal does not, we can't run PHP tests, which was kind of like the whole big deal, and making writing rules a lot easier. Like, why? Yep. So that's host. So I'll just see where this goes at least with running. So yep, it didn't run. That's expected. Same with on PHP 8. Should be the same thing that it didn't match. I guess we'll just do it blind. There's no way to really get this working right now. What I want to do is test this test skipped arc test incomplete, fails since browser test base cannot be resolved. Need to add Drupal core as a dev dependency. When Symfony conflict as a dev dependency. Will work when Drupal core added as a dev dependency. I think that's like the best that can be done there, right there. Unreachable statement. Like, yes, I know that is. All right, well, that's really unfortunate that we can't run any automated tests, but I can try to write on this refactor. So I just want to see some of the examples here. Get mock base, refactor, parent class name. It's a method call if name. So, all right, this is what we need to check. So if this get name is Drupal post form. Hello, hello. Let's see. I wish there's an easy. Where's all the base files? Here's all the bases. Method to method base. Changes the name of the method. Checks the variable has a certain class. This deprecated name. Have I used MongoDB and Mongoose? Once, about 4 years ago. 6 years ago. I ran a mean stack or MERN, whatever. Yeah, Mongo, Express, Angular, and Node. But not often. That was like, yeah, that was at one time about 6 years ago. So this checks the method call and deprecated name. So node name, we don't want to we need to actually rewrite the method, return new static call. We need to return multiple nodes. Okay, so we can return an array. So let's return. We're going to do this. We're going to try. I mean, I don't really do JavaScript development like in that way. So I don't know how easy it'd be for me to like test that. Yeah, so no, I don't think I can. So arguments. All right, so we need to get the arguments check here. So let's see. So, so we got the path is node args. Oh, we need to assert that node is instance of method call. So is it a method or is it the expression? Should be the expression. So underneath there, all right, so method call, so it should be args 0 is the path. The edit is node args 1. Button is node args 2. All right, we're going to start with this basic example. Oh, let's do that inspection list. So let's try that out. Let's do path, edit, button. Problem is that I don't know. We'll try this out. We'll destructure our array this way. And return node. We don't want to return that same node. We need to load base. I want to just find a good example of node, new node, ternary call. All right, so we're going to do new method call. Is this an expression ternary? So there, oh man. Let's see if this exists. I am flying so blind without being able to use PHP Unit and Xdebug for all this. So new, get storage node. All right. Storage node, method call var. What's var? New static call. So I believe we can do, so variable holding object. All right, so we can pass the var from there, the name. So we'll do a new identifier called Drupal get. And arguments would be, what do they have for entity type? Oh, we'll just pass the path. All right. So that should refactor. So this should use the abstract syntax tree to rewrite Drupal post form to this line. And now we just got to redo it for submit form. So we're going to do method call to submit form. Now we're going to pass edit and button. And this is a nillable array. Yeah, I have no idea if this will work, and there's no way to test it, but pushing it. So I guess blind push for functional test. I'll have to find a new way of working and developing on this since we can't use PHP Unit yet. I'm going to at least update this issue. So a test. I don't. So it's just about ready. Hit a blocker trying to write test for a basic rule. We can't do PHP unit tests for rules that load Drupal classes. Trying to require Drupal core as a dev dependency is blocked on D9 due to the fact Rector requires Symfony 5. Drupal 9 does not yet support Symfony 5, so we can't tackle the new rules with DDD anymore. That's a bummer. They make it so much slower to write rules. Errors all over the place. Let's see what happened here. For node tray, what's this error? Line 49. Because I forgot to return null. Probably. Yep, because I forgot to return null. Must be of type of array or null. No, none returned. Yeah, because I did strict types and I didn't return null. Okay. Fix empty return. And PHP vendor bin, PHP stand. Just let PHP stand tell me what I did wrong. No errors. Push it. Because I think this will, like, this reads right. We're rewriting calls to Drupal post form and transforming it to these two nodes with these three arguments being replaced. Drupal 9, Symfony 5. Symfony 5 compatibility. Well, that's a bunch of malarkey. It's not compatible if I can't install Symfony 5. In preparation for Drupal 10, all Symfony 5 and several Symfony 6 compatibility issues have been resolved. But why can't I install Drupal with Symfony 5? Da. So that might not be. It might not be feasible. So let's look at what these errors are. So this crashed. Leave node may only return an array if the parent structure isn't an array. Node traverse. Oh, well then. That's may only return an array if the parent structure is an array. So how do you replace a single call with two? I need to see something here. All right. How does this add comment trait? Add rector comment, statement node, add comments. That's how. Let's see. Find usages. This add, it returns the node. The new node. But we need to replace one line with two. Otherwise, this won't work. Types, let's see. Again, this would be so much faster if I could use PHP Unit. Everything here returns a node. Nothing returns an array. Let's see if there's some examples. Unnecessary ternary. All right, we're gonna search inside of director rules to see if anything returns array. Let's see, how does this work? Get node types returns that array. If uses is less than 2. So, oh man, I don't. So these are statements over expression calls. If else ifs. And if is a statement, so maybe it only works on statements and not expression calls. Oh, crap. Well, that's going to have to require a big fix. Unless there's some way to let's see. Subnode names, method call, expression args. Ternary call, sign, arrow function cast. No. Statement, class else if, blah, 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 blah. No op. No. Return, throw, try, catch, use, while. Arg, statement. Statement is class enum. That's not, it's not going to be in there. Shoot. New static variable, break, throw, halt. Well, what I'll do at least is we're going to do, we must inject Drupal get or at. So how about this? Use comment trait. So we're going to have this do a return that value. It's a node or null. We're going to say this add Drupal Rector comment on the node. You must call the I'm going to do a you must call this Drupal get %s before submit form. So we'll try that, and that should then be path provide 3 parameters. Hold on, I got this typed in wrong. And then I am going to have to sign off because it's time, but I hope this can get at least something running. Use a comment since we cannot inject 2 nodes. And let's actually go to Rector PHP Rector. I want to check something real quick. Issues. Support or discussion. Now we'll go to discussion. New discussion. Category. Q&A. Replace single node with 2 new nodes. We have a deprecated method that is actually replaced with 2 different method calls. I'm not sure how to return, as returning an array from method call node throws an error in the traverser. And I lost that log, but I can still copy code sample example. With this, it errors if I return an array and not a single node. Maybe there is a node class I am missing. All right, start that discussion. See if I can get feedback. Well, please post. All right, I want to see the results of this last run. Failed. Click start discussion. There we go. Threw an error on line 52. Object of class string cannot be converted to string. Name. Unpack. Oh, jeez. Oh. Second. Okay, so we got an array of args. Value. Parameter name if named. If it's by reference or unpack. Which we know it's a, all right. Let's just call it path value equals path value, assert path value instance of string underscore. We'll use the assert so that way it just works. And we'll pass the value. By just works, I mean then PHP stand. We're kind of coercing it. Fix path output, and then I'm gonna have to totally rebase and clean this up after. And hopefully I can get some feedback onto here. Not seeing anything in there. I am curious when they added Symfony 5 and all the bleeding edge items. So composer, let's do a blame. 25 days ago on prefix since 5.3. Bumped the dependencies. So it was at 5.2 before. So it's been a while. Bumped the dependencies. Yeah. This is at 5.2 for a while. Let's look at the last test runs, and then I need to call it. Well, it didn't crash, so that's good. So it worked. So I guess I'll just update this, and I'll update the feature or the fixture and see if we can get it fixed or if we can automate it, and we'll have the first test fixture, I guess, for Drupal 9. Examples, post form, simple example. It's going to add the plus, so wait. Oh, yeah, so simple example, it's got that there, and so I'm at least going to put this here. The test is still going to fail because we need to handle all the other instances, but this will be enough to just get the basics started. Update fixture to account for notice. And let's see, close the test there. Where's the rector at? We need to do a to-do handle when there are 4 or 5 arguments for ops and ID. Put that to do. It's a good place to pause it. Add notes, update fixture, and do a push. So thanks for tuning in. Wasn't as exciting as I thought it would be. I thought the progress might be a little bit faster, but the good news is it will be next time around because the grunt work's mostly done. So again, thanks to Palantir for sponsoring my time to work on this, so that way we can have automated code fixes for deprecated code in Drupal 9 on the journey to Drupal 10. So thanks. Bye.